Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nifty Ki Baat. We have Jay Thakkar and Rajdeepak Singh with us, and we'll be taking a quick look at what is driving the markets today. As we head to quarterly results season and with the union budget around the corner, how are you reading the overall market mood? Where do you think we are headed from here? Over to you.
Hi, thanks for watching our YouTube session of Nifty Ki Baat. And I would like to basically, you know, continue from where we left on Twitter Spaces yesterday, or X Spaces, I would say, yesterday evening. Is that there was a question, in fact, that Nifty. GIFT Nifty is 100 points up. So, will we open about 26,300, or what if we see the levels of 26,400 plus? And our view was very clear that, whether we ignore or avoid GIFT Nifty's move, we focus on the levels which we have seen or analyzed as far as our markets are concerned directly, spot levels. And there it was very clear that, yesterday the overall options, data overall had actually changed. So until last week, or that is, until Friday, we had seen there was aggressive put additions, जिससे ऐसा लग रहा था कि probably we would see a further up move. But what happened is yesterday once Nifty made a new lifetime high, उसके बाद अगर आप देखें तो continuously there was unwinding of the puts, and rather there was aggressive call writing, because of which 26,300 became a very critical or a highest call base. तो वो बात क्लियर थी कि 26,300 नहीं निकाला, so probably trend sideways to negative रहेगा. In fact, below 26,200, we also discussed in our X spaces yesterday कि 26,200 के नीचे one can buy a put option at the money, in the money, or a bear put spread. And in fact, even a bounce towards 26,300 can be utilized as a buying put option or a long put strategy. So this is what we did. So आप सुबह का देखो ना, 144 आया निफ्टी, it came to 26,144, it bounced to 26,275. अच्छा खासा सुबह का एक अप मूव दिया, जहाँ पे हमने यही डिस्कस किया था कल स्पेसिफिक, वन कैन गो लॉन्ग ऑन पुट. जब तक 26,300 नहीं निकलता, वी वुड नॉट बी बाइंग कॉल. एंड वहां से आपको एक डिप देखने मिली, राइट? दैट इज व्हाट हैपेंस, पॉइंट वन. सो ये हुआ. एंड अभी भी वही व्यू है, वी आर नॉट ओवरसोल्ड ऑन दी Nifty as of now. As far as our weekly expiry is concerned, that is what is my view, is we are not oversold. And because we are not oversold, the probability of 26,300 getting taken off is less. Had we been oversold at current levels at say PCR of 0.45, 0.4, and I would have said that okay, ठीक है, 26,300 लो प्रीमियम में निकल सकता है और वोलेटिलिटी में निकल सकता है. मुझे नहीं लगता निकल पाएगा. तो सुबह का टाइम किया था वो राइट टाइम था. एंड इफ यू सी आज, so just let me put the daily chart. So we are up on the India VIX as well today. So yesterday's closing was somewhere around 10, and right now it is 10.15. Okay, 1% jitna you have seen this up move today. In fact, the most interesting thing today is that we have recovered. We have seen a recovery from today's low. So I think that gradually, as we have come out with the report and we have discussed yesterday in spaces as well, that slowly and gradually we are going to see this rise in India VIX. एक आध दो दिन बीच में फ्लैट हो सकता है, that is okay. I mean, ऐसा वाले दिन भी हो सकते हैं ना कि ऊपर नीचे कहीं कुछ ना किया, that is fine. But then see what was the trend overall here, down. Likewise, एक आध दो दिन अगर बीच में कुछ ना करे, ठीक है. But trend overall is what we think is going to be up, at least until 12-13 levels is what we expected from the December series close. So ये बात तो है कि वीक बढ़ने वाली है धीरे धीरे. तो आपको इंट्राडे ऐसे मूव्स जो आज देखने मिला है निफ्टी में, ऐसे मूव्स आपको और देखने मिलेंगे. Hence, acting or taking a contra bet near the support and resistance, one should not feel hesitant about it कि भाई 26,300 निकल तो नहीं जाएगा, मैं क्या कॉन्ट्रा बेट लूं. डेफिनेटली लो. लाइकवाइज अगर आज 26,050 आ जाता है फॉर सम रीजन, मुझे नहीं, मैं नहीं बोलो आएगा, अभी आ गया तो ठीक है वोलेटिलिटी में, मगर आज 26,050 आता है, डेफिनेटली कॉन्ट्रा बेट लेके कॉल ऑप्शन लेना है. वहां पे यू डोंट हैव टू बी अफ्रेड कि नहीं अब तो 26 टूट जाएगा. देखेंगे, बिकॉज एज ऑफ नाउ मंथली सीरीज और वीकली सीरीज आज का, कोई भी सीरीज का देख लो ये पूरे महीने में, 26,000 स्ट्राइक हैज द हाईएस्ट पुट बेस. तो उसके आसपास आता है, यू हैव टू टेक अ कॉन्ट्राबेट टिल दोस लेवल्स आर नॉट ब्रोकन. जैसे ऊपर में है 26,300, 26,000 नीचे में. सो सी माय व्यू, आई वुड से आकांक्षा, इज वन थिंग इज क्लियर कि आज ऊपर में फिर से आता है तो हमें अटेम्प्ट करना है अराउंड 275 280 लेवल्स के आसपास. फिर से अगर मौका मिला, गुड चांस टू गो लॉन्ग पुट अगेन और अ बेयर पुट. ओके, 26,300 निकलता है तो ही हम कॉल लेंगे. So if I have to give you a strategy as of now, what strategy will it be at 26,200? My strategy would be uh, one would be that see here the risk load is not good कि 26,200 का लेके 26,150 का बेचू, ये 15-20 रुपए में मिलेगा 30 रुपया तो कुछ नहीं होगा. Rather what you can do is वेरी वेरी क्लियर इज अगर 20 रुपए डालना ही है तो 26,150 का पुट ले लो, 12-13 रुपए में मिलेगा. 26,250 का कॉल ले लो, 8 रुपए में मिलेगा. 21 रुपए का रिस्क है. 0-0 21 रुपीज 0-0 बाइंग 50 पॉइंट्स डाउन एंड 50 पॉइंट्स अप. कॉल पुट एट टोटल ऑफ 20-21. स्टॉप लॉस 0, टारगेट 50. Yeah,
Fair
over to you.
enough. Rajdeepak, would you like to share your inputs?
So, Akanksha, what has happened in the market, it is particularly from the large cap perspective. And if you look at the market breadth or the performance from the overall perspective, broader market perspective, so that has been remained relatively resilient. And if you exclude couple of names, then what I believe that we are still near the life high levels, that is beyond 26,300 also, despite the CMP is showing at 26,100 or 200 odd levels. But if you exclude what has happened to Reliance or the SDFC Bank or even the ITC, that means the rest of the market has significantly outperformed. And what we believe as we are approaching budget, so this consumption theory or I would say sectoral rotation across the board, that is going to take further momentum. And what we can see that Nifty slowly but gradually is likely to move higher only. And like we have discussed yesterday in the spaces also till 26,050 to 26,100 levels are respected. Overall, we should be positive in the market from the short-term perspective, whether you can call it pre-budget rally or whatever you want to mention it. But as of now, there isn't much cues which can suggest that market should decline from here. Only below those levels, 2650, I would be relatively skeptical. But again, that would be the time when I have to look at which sector is going to underperform. As of now, I don't see, because it is more instead of any particular sector, it is more of stock specific weakness what we are witnessing in the market. So for me, overall trends remain bullish. The second tier market is performing relatively and much stronger what we have seen just a couple of weeks back. So moving towards budget, I'm expecting this up move to extend. It might move towards 26,700, 800 levels, but that would be the point where I would discuss if from there onwards whether I can see further up move or not. But as of now, I don't think much reason to worry about in the markets. Yeah, gotcha.
All right, let's stay with the broader picture. And as Raj mentioned, the large cap stocks have underperformed recently. What's your view on the index heavyweights, Jay?
Yeah, correct. So, see, what has happened is the recent run up which we have seen, Akansha, from 25,700 until this, the high made yesterday of 26,373 approximately, right? In this bounce of Nifty, what we have seen is earlier what happened is, I would say in this phase particularly, Nifty IT had outperformed. Since last 2 weeks, we have seen Nifty IT underperforming 0.1. Then who had performed? All those names which were quite beaten down. You can say, budget sensitive stocks, maybe railway, defense. These were quite oversold. So we saw a bounce back there. Lately, we saw a bounce back in the last couple of days was in Nifty Realty, the late or the last mover. I would say we have seen a good buying interest coming in the financials once again, especially the PSU banks and the NBFCs. It's just the private sector bank. To keep that aside, the rest of the markets perform. Actually speaking, rest of the market perform. And if I put last 1 or 2 months data, then PSU bank and IT mainly underperform because IT since last 2 weeks is not doing as best. All have performed. And sharply they have bounced back. So that was clearly short covering, 0.1. FI's index net long short, net short have reduced. That is a positive point number 2. The only thing is that since the large cap participation is relatively lower as compared to the overall market, okay, तो since the broader market, जैसे राज ने कहा ना अभी कि मिड कैप स्मॉल कैप इस तरह से गिर रहा था ना कि तभी लोग बात कर रहे थे कि स्मॉल कैप गया 10-15% डाउन था, निफ्टी वाज देयर एंड देयर itself and people thought of a bear market coming in, right? And from there if you see those two indices, mid and small cap have bounced back as if कौन कह रहा था कि bear market आने वाला है, like that they have bounced back. And I still believe that they are in the range, especially Nifty small cap. ऐसा, but then the bounce back has been sharp, and obviously because of the budget reasons and all of that. अब देखो large cap में, as Raj mentioned, ITC गिर गया, आज Reliance गिर गया, HDFC Bank गिर गया. So heavyweights are not performing as they should be. Okay, mainly heavyweights में वो जहाँ पे जिसका weightage ज्यादा है. Otherwise you see Ultratech Cement अच्छा चला है. सो आप देखो अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट हो कि फिर श्री सीमेंट हो, उसमें सब में बाउंस आया ही है, ऐसा नहीं है. बट प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स, रिलायंस, आईटीसी, एचयूएल तो कल 1-2 दिन ही चला. सो फ्यू ऑफ द लार्ज कैप आर स्टिल मिसिंग to actually participate. If they had they participated rather, I would say we would have been at 26,700-800 or maybe even at 27,000 of Nifty. सोचो ना, अगर वो लोग 10% चले गए तो 10% 4-5% इंडेक्स तो चले गए ना, बाकी प्रॉफिट आएगा. इवन फॉर दैट मैटर इफ दे मूव बाय 4-5%, व्हाई वुड निफ्टी नॉट क्लाइम बाय 2%? एंड 2% इज 500 पॉइंट्स, तो अब 26,700 तो ऐसे ही हो जाते हैं. 2% तो चलते ही ना एटलीस्ट. सो कहीं ना कहीं इसके कारण मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है, सी व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन इज, आई थिंक दैट अगेन एंड अगेन व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, आप देखो, दिस इज वेरी क्लियर टू माय माइंड. दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. जाता है and then it gets sold into, जाता है, it gets sold into, जाता है, it gets sold into, and hence 26,050 is what Raj mentioned because it is a VWAP level. अगर आपको strike wise देखना है, जहाँ पे सबसे ज्यादा पुट बेस है 26,000 है, वो ब्रेक नहीं होना चाहिए. because see you go up and you get sold into and then you're creating again, but what you are doing is that you've been slowly and gradually moving higher only. If you break that 26,000, you are back into that 25,700 kind of a support. फिर ये पूरा बड़ा वाला move हो जाएगा, ठीक है ना. So I think that what I think is that taking off 26,400, 300, 400 range on a closing basis now becomes important in order to further carry on this, थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे करके धीरे धीरे ऊपर जाना, which we think should be happening. That is what FI data also suggests. But large cap participation, still I believe, Akanksha, the core question which you asked, I think large cap participation will be missing, particularly in this month, because of the volatility. क्योंकि large cap participation जोर से आएगा तो volatility कैसे ऊपर जाएगा? If you're expecting that all the large caps are going to participate and सब में तेजी आने वाली है जोर की ऊपर में, सब लोग 5% चलेंगे तो volatility ऊपर जाएगा ही नहीं. So I don't think their participation is going to come. And secondly, budget कारण है ना, तो बजट में बजट सेंसिटिव स्टॉक्स और बाकी ब्रॉडर मार्केट ज्यादा फ्लेवर में रहता है rather than, well, आज के तो कभी भी खरीद सकते हैं, बजट डे पे भी खरीद सकते हैं. So why before budget? So I don't think large caps are going to be relatively participating or outperforming this in this month. नहीं होगा.
All right, let's take this discussion a bit further. Could you both just highlight a couple of sectors that would take the forefront in the coming term?
So, Akansha, what we believe, see, everyone can have their own personal choice, but for me, it seems like power as a whole and overall ecosystem of the power sector that is likely to do wonders. It might be a big word, but still, what I believe that power as a whole segment ecosystem that might outperform in the days to come, whether it's power generation, transmission, or the financials. So overall, for me, power would be the number one choice. I'm not saying energy, I'm saying power. So there's a difference when it comes to energy. You can think about the oil and gas stocks as well, but I would be more focusing on in the power space. So that would be my first choice. And after that, if I have to look at, so there's a hiding place, always a hiding place where you should park your money in case of worst case scenarios. And for me, that would be FMCG consumption space. So stocks starting from the HUL, they are fluctuating near their 52-week low levels. Not much up move is there, and not just that. Even the second tier whether it's a Dabur, Marico, Godrej Consumer, Tata Consumer. So they have shown some good momentum in the last couple of months, and what we believe that this consumption pack might eventually move into the forefront of the market movement. The reason being why they were not able to perform in the last quarter could be because of GST rate cut, where they have been under pressure because of the pricing cut and all. But now they will have some pricing power once again. The margins may expand from here, and with the tax cuts and other things, the consumption story, which India is known about, so that might pick up once again. So overall, power and power is also a part of consumption, but power and FMCG pack. So FMCG pack as my hiding place where I would like to uh, generate more alpha than I would get in the Nifty. So power and consumption, that would be my pick. And as Jay said, FIs are not participating, large cap names are not performing, and until they are not coming back, it's meaningless to look at the Nifty performance because Nifty is driven by your top 5 or 7 large cap names, जिनको हम लोग heavyweights बोलते हैं. So unless we don't see performance coming from those stocks, we need to stick to the second tier market, and in the second tier market, I would prefer these sectors and stock which I just discussed.
And what about you, Jay? Would you like to add any other sectors?
Sectorally, what I believe, is that see, after a certain how do you say consolidation or some consolidation, probably this one could be a consolidation for the Nifty IT stocks until budget. Because budget wale stock flavor रहेगा ना IT क्यों? Why IT? Because IT is generally not related to budget; it is related to the global, right? So IT क्यों? So that is the reason if you see IT is witnessing some sell-off as of now. Right, logical नहीं बैठ रहा है. Had there been a Trump deal or something, Trump deal नहीं, sorry, trade deal or something, then definitely IT would have been in flavor. Otherwise, why IT? Right. So I think IT will not be in flavor this month. So this month could be particularly some consolidation is what we can see in IT. So I'll just try to show it to you. हाँ मतलब they can bounce back for sure because इतना 2 week से गिर ही रहा है तो थोड़ा वापस इधर it can do like this something see इतना गिरा फिर again वापस down up because see overall we have seen a very strong recovery. So ये strong recovery मतलब index level if you see from 33,000 approximately 33,500 to 40,000 34,000 ही पकड़ लो ना 6,000 पॉइंट चला है almost 15%. 20%, I don't know, 15-20% के बीच में उतना चलने का 5-6% कंसोलिडेशन तो हो ही सकता है एंड दे हैव बीन गोइंग अप सिंस व्हेन यू सी दिस सो इट्स लाइक दे बीन मेड फ्रॉम बॉटम समवेयर अराउंड इन अक्टूबर नवंबर दिसंबर 3 महीने आपने थोड़ा अच्छा ट्रेंड देखा सो फिर 1 महीना तो साइडवेज हो ही सकता है और होना भी चाहिए एंड देन समवेयर अराउंड previous tops only it has taken a resistance so something like sort of ऐसा कुछ ये रेंज में अटक सकता है आईटी थोड़ा टाइम एंड देन आफ्टर इवेंचुअली वापस एक बार शायद चल जाए इज व्हाट आई थिंक सो आईटी थोड़ा कंसोलिडेशन फेज में चलेगा तो दिस शुड बी अवॉइड अंटिल अनलेस नाउ 40,000 के ऊपर आईटी चले जाए इज व्हाट आई कैन से शॉर्ट्स है यहाँ पे इसीलिए मैं बात कर रहा हूँ शॉर्ट्स है यहाँ पे शॉर्ट कवरिंग देखने मिल सकती है बट इट कैन बी सम कंसोलिडेशन सो you avoid this. Auto has already gone up quite a lot. We were quite bullish on one stock particularly, and that was Bajaj Auto. On a short covering point of view, we had come out with a note on it as well, and we have booked profit as well today. So that was one stock which was expected to outperform or participate on account of short covering, and that has happened, right? Otherwise, see, Auto overall has gone up quite a lot. I'm not bearish, or we are not bearish on Auto. Is what we are saying is that high levels पे आपको थोड़ा profit booking, so that good trend. So ये भी stock by sector बाजू में तो IT auto is side. Defense would see selectively some short covering still because वहाँ पे भी shorts है. So अगर बाजार में थोड़ा bounce अगर आना है ना, which we are thinking है 26 नहीं टूटता है तो 26,400 500 तो which stocks or sectors? And defense could be one. Auto ancillary could be two, if not auto then. Okay, these two sectors, along with maybe infra, power, and infra में सब आ गया था, construction material like cement भी आ गया. So I think infra, power, and yeah, auto ancillary and FMCG selectively. Like Raj mentioned about Marico, we are long. We have recommended this talk to our clients. As a disclaimer, I would like to put that forward. So Marico, ITC, ex-ITC, remaining FMCG stocks can participate. So what could be avoided? I think I would still avoid real estate. शॉर्ट कवरिंग के कारण थोड़ा बाउंस है, बट आई एम नॉट वेरी वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्ट कि बहुत बड़ा बाउंस आ सकता है वहां पे. सो रियल एस्टेट, आईटी, प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स, and auto. This is where I would not participate much. Remaining rest all sectors, I think they can. And oil and gas, oil and gas में भी कुछ नहीं है. So oil and gas also can be avoided. But metals, energy, that is power, infra, FMCG, these all names can be in focus for remaining part of January series.
All right. You've been talking about a rise in volatility in the beginning of the session. Could you just tell us how much volatility are we really expecting and what kind of levels should the traders be prepared for?
Okay. See, I'll tell you one thing that there are a couple of things which we analyze. One is that the budget is generally on 1st of Feb, right? So the 4 weeks prior to that, whatever close you see on the VIX, from there onwards, you see at least 20 to 30% kind of a jump in volatility. So if we see December series close or December close, for that matter, if you want to take 31st December, it was somewhere around these levels, which is 9. So from there, 30% could be around 2.73 to round it off. So it could be 12. So 12 is the minimum level which we are looking at. I mean, we're at 10.15 if you round it off to 10 at the lower side. So यहाँ से भी 20% का move देखने मिल सकता है minimum. That is what we have been seeing that कि 2023 से volatility today नीचे ही रही है, despite FI selling, but because of the DI buying and flow of SIPs. Otherwise, the average used to be somewhere around 15-16. So now we are expecting 13. हायर साइड पे ये देखो 15 13 इधर तक तो आ जाए, 12.5 13 तक. So this should also be good enough volatility bounce. That is what we are thinking, and we are not expecting index to basically move more than 3% up or down from say 26,000 levels or 26,100. So we are not expecting Nifty to go beyond say 26,800, 27,000 range on the upside to 25,300, 100 range on the downside. See, we have studied one thing which is called seasonality. तो सीजनैलिटी में हमें ये देखने मिला है कि फेब्रुवरी सीरीज में रिलेटिवली जो परसेंटेज मूव होता है ना निफ्टी का ऑन क्लोजिंग बेसिस हैज बीन रिलेटिवली मोर एज कंपेयर टू जनवरी सीरीज. जनवरी सीरीज का हमें एवरेज ऑफ लास्ट वन डिकेड व्हाट वी हैव सीन, वन डिकेड मतलब यहाँ से 2015 से 25 का has been around 1.2%, 1.5%. February का relatively has been around 1.92%. तो आप देखो फरवरी का क्लोज, सो अगर 1.5-2% ही रहा है, 2.5% भी गया है, सो 1.5-2-2.5% है. सो आप सोचो ना कि 2% भी ऊपर गया निफ्टी 26,100 से तो 500 पॉइंट हुआ, नीचे गया तो 500 पॉइंट हुआ. सो ऐसे तो आपका रेंज होना चाहिए 26,600-700 से नीचे में 25,400-500, उतना ही होना चाहिए. वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो हम 27 और 25 ले लो. So hence we recommended the strategy also, no, which we recommended a combination of a bear put spread, ratio spread and a bull call ratio spread works fine because we are expecting a VIX बढ़ेगा. आप समझिए कि VIX बढ़ेगा but to a limited extent before the budget. So January series में limited ही बढ़ेगा, फिर ज्यादा जो अप डाउन होगा ना that would be highest on the day of budget. ठीक है ना. Hence February में आपको जो रेंज है वो थोड़ी रिलेटिवली बड़ी होती है जनवरी से. सो दीज आर द एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑन विक्स दैट इट विल बाउंस प्रायर टू बजट बट टू अ लिमिटेड लेवल. फिर बाद में देखो बजट कैसे आता है, पर उसके बाद जनरली गिर जाता है.
What about you, Raj?
Well, what I believe in terms of volatility, at least that we will be in a secular rise towards the budget. And if at all there would be any dip, that would be post-budget only. So for us, like just said, at least a 20 to 30% upswing in the IVs, that is quite likely. And if you consider the lows from 9.2, so I wouldn't just stop at 20%, because from 9 odd levels, 20% is just 2%. That means 11. I'm expecting even beyond that. So somewhere around 12 and a half, 13, that could be the base case for me, at least ahead of the budget. But again, like we discussed yesterday also in our spaces, that don't expect it to rise next week. It may start moving towards the fag end of the month, first nearby your quarterly numbers, and then the major up move we might see in the last week of budget, uh, because your budget would be on the 1st of February. So 2nd February expiry, that would be having the highest IVs. So because of that, we might see that exponential rise in India VIX is coming in the last week of January. Before that, particularly for the next week or the coming expiry, audible now? Okay, so I'm not getting into when it can rise, but most probably, according to me, we might see that exponential rise in India VIX since the at least from the third week of January onwards. Before that, it might be relatively muted IVs or the markets which we are experiencing right now. So that you can see from the option pricing as well. For the next week, if you look at 25,800 put options, the option pricing is almost negligible. Similarly, on the higher side, even a 300 points up move is where we don't see any sort of major option pricing coming into picture. So market is expecting a similar kind of range bound or limited upside or limited downside sort of behavior for the next week as well. And anything where we might see a significant move, that would be the third week onwards, at least in terms of IVs.
All right. Now coming to today's action, with today being the settlements day, where do you see Nifty likely settling by the end of the session?
Well, I think below 26,200. That was my view yesterday as well. Today also, I think that it's going to be below 26,200. अभी 26,300 तो दूर हो गया, right? For that you require 150, 140 points kind of a move. तो वो तो दूर हो गया. अब 26,200 के ऊपर ही जाता है तो निफ्टी शायद थोड़ा बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाए. आई वुड से दैट इट इज अ स्ट्रांग क्लोज. मतलब 26,200 के ऊपर बंद करना मतलब आप सोचो ना, निफ्टी में खाली 40-50 पॉइंट डाउन हो ऑन अ डे, when you have two major index heavyweights fallen so sharply. So that would be, I would say, a signal of a strength. Otherwise, it would be retesting the levels of 26,000 is what I believe. 26,000 टेस्ट हो सकता है, पैनिक करवा सकता है वहां पे, एंड उसके बाद अगर ऊपर लेना है तो ले सकते हैं. इनफैक्ट आई वुड लाइक टू से वन थिंग, आई मीन दिस इज टू टेक्निकल आई वुड से, बट यू सी ये जो प्रीवियस ये मूव आया था दैट रिट्रेस ऑलमोस्ट 78 से ज्यादा, एंड देन ये वाला जो मूव आया था नेट रिट्रेस्ड 762 से ज्यादा 78 तक. सो ये वाला मूव अगर मुझे देखना है लेटेस्ट वन, तो अगर वो 61 करना है तो ये 25,980 26,000 आता है 78 पे, एंड 61 पे लगभग 26,060. तो ये 26,050 से 26,000 की रेंज है ना, दैट बिकम्स अ वेरी क्रिटिकल एंट्री पॉइंट, because risk reward there would be really favorable. That is what I think. But 26,200 के नीचे is what I'm expecting today. At the same time, I'm not expecting below 26,000. That would be too much. But 26,050 आज ही आ गया तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि कॉन्ट्राबेट ले लेना. ठीक है, that would be second thing. And I would like to give one strategy for the next weekly expiry as well, because आज का तो मैंने आपको कॉल पुट दोनों बाई करवा लिया था. That was at a cost of what? 20 रुपया, राइट? 20 रुपये मैंने आपको 150, तो आज 19 रुपये का तो खाली आपका 150 का ही कॉल हो गया. So 19 है, 4.5 है, 20 और 4, you're making 4-5 points. 4 to 5 points is what we are making on the intraday strategy which I suggested. Let's see at the end of the day. Even if this comes to 26,100, तो आपका तो टारगेट ही आ जाएगा इस पे. That is what it is, right? Yeah. Next week strategy at 26,160 spot will be next week के लिए, I think that what you can do is for next week, you can buy 26,100 put and sell 26,050 put. This will be at a cost of 15 rupees. Okay. इधर आ गया तो 15 रुपये मिल जाएगा, 30 रुपये मिलेगा. अदरवाइज व्हाट यू कैन डू इज रेदर, वो ज्यादा दूर हो जाएगा. आप 26,150 का पुट ले लो 88 में और 26,050 का बेच दो. दिस वुड बी एट अ कॉस्ट ऑफ 30 रुपीज. देखो, so this is better. Buy 26,150 put and sell 26,050 put. 30 रुपीज के सामने वो 70 रुपीज मिल रहा है. So it is good 1:2 risk reward. Yes, I am going with the bear put spread because for me now, until we are not going about 26,300, I am not comfortable long side. I don't mean that I am bearish, extra, ultra. नहीं, ये मैंने आपको रीजन बताया. ये 761 से 78 कर रहा है, ऐसे ही हो रहा है ना. सो जब तक कंफर्मेशन ऊपर का नहीं मिल रहा, मैं अज्यूम कर रहा हूँ फिर से वैसे ही वो टूट गया तो वी आर फॉलिंग बैक इनटू दिस ब्रॉडर रेंज. निफ्टी ने पहले नहीं किया है, बहुत बार किया है. पूरा एक साल निकाल दिया था उसमें. यू सी हियर, how can we forget this? We have been doing Twitter spaces all and YouTube sessions all across this. बार ये देखो ना, निकालने के बावजूद इतना आ गया था. तो ये भी निकालने के बावजूद ऐसा, हाई वगैरह निकालने के बावजूद क्यों ऐसा नहीं हो सकता? हो सकता है. नेवर बी व्हाट राज यू से ना, नेवर से नो. सो ऐसा, नेवर से नेवर, सॉरी. सो ये जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ उसके कारण आई एम प्रोवाइडिंग दिस और सजेस्टिंग दिस स्ट्रेटजी एट अ 30 रुपीज का stop loss. Yeah.
Perfect. Over to you, Raj. Could you share your levels?
See, Akansha, in a day when your top two index heavyweights, HDFC Bank and Reliance, both are down by more than 4%, and still market is not down by even just by 80 points. So that is suggesting something, and whether they are strong hands or something, they are trying to protect the downside. One thing is clear, even yesterday we discussed that we are not going to buy till Nifty is not moving beyond 26,300. But at the end of the day, 26,300 is too far away. Can't expect it to move towards those levels. And the big call writing has taken place at 26,200 itself. So like they said, move beyond 26,200 is also highly improbable. I'm just using the word improbable. But 26,150 is keeping strong. There isn't put base, everything pointing towards either the further decline or the weakness or not up move. That is one thing which we can unanimously say कि हाँ भाई यहाँ पर हमें तेजी की बात नहीं लग रही है. And that is the only thing which can suggest कि हाँ भाई अब तेजी हो सकती है या रिवर्सल हो सकता है. So for me, I would bet settlement around current levels. 26,150 to 200 is the most likely range. I'm not expecting to move Nifty to move below 26,150. अगर ये 150 के नीचे जा रहा है, then it might extend towards 26,050 or 26,100 further, another 50 to 80 points of decline in Nifty. But till we are holding those levels, there are always chances that we move towards again 26,200. And for me, the best case scenario for the day would be if we settle around 26,200. So I wouldn't be betting on the decline till we are sustaining below 26,150. Even on a higher side, I would be betting if there is any short covering sort of move, if you'd like to see. So that is only above 26,210 odd levels. तब तक कुछ भी नहीं करने का है, शांति से बैठने का है. मार्केट में कुछ नहीं हो रहा, हमें भी कुछ नहीं करना.
All right, now coming to the end of this session, after all that we've discussed today, from the budget to the sectors to the levels, what's your key advice for our traders? What should they focus on for today, who are watching us right now?
Well, they should be focusing on volatility. I mean, that is going to be the thing for this month. I mean, that is going to be something which I think many people will be talking on the street, particularly in this week, this month, because that would be the, I would say, hot topic for this series. at least until the budget, because इतने टाइम से वोलेटिलिटी नीचे ही रहा है, and we've seen the chart, right? And अगर वो पर्टिकुलर कोई मंथ में अगर 25-30% बढ़ जाता है, then I think definitely it will be something which everyone will be talking on the street, and obviously it will not be at 15-16 levels. 20% बनने के बाद भी 12, 12.5, 13 के लेवल पे मैक्स आएगा, बट स्टिल, एंड उसके कारण से होगा क्या कि जो स्विंग्स होंगे बाजार में वो बड़े होंगे. सी, आई डोंट थिंक कि हमें ऐसे दिन देखने मिलेंगे अब, छोटे 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 ऐसे, ये जो ऐसे नहीं मिलेंगे अभी. शायद ऐसे बड़े बड़े दिन हमें काफी देखने मिले, is what I'm expecting. Okay, the close could be flat. The close could be flat, that's fine, but the difference between or the range of the day is going to be increasing, is what I believe. I would put it in short that way, rather than focusing on these candles. The range would widen. Hence, be very watchful. Hedge your bets either side, and अगर ऐसा सस्ता प्रीमियम मिलता है, so do not be hesitant on going long strangle. I mean, in the higher volatility regime, you never know when is your day, but at least don't be short. Short as in what do you say, plain vanilla short or a naked short, वो मत करना है. इंट्राडे कर रहे हो फिर भी ठीक है, if you are having stop losses, but do not carry overnight shorts on options without wings. Yeah, that is it.
That's great. Coming to you, Raj, what would you like to advise our viewers?
See, I won't suggest anything in the options. Low volatility can expand it at any point of time, but you cannot time it. So have a proper risk reward perspective when you are going to buy options. But at the end of the day, it is more about the sectors, the parties. See, at the end of the day, we need to make money from the market. It's not about whether Nifty is moving or not. It's about whether our portfolio is giving us any return or not. So when it comes to portfolio, choosing the right sector ahead of the budget, that might help us more than finding the immediate direction of the Nifty. And even in today's session, when Nifty is down by 100 points, there are few sectors which are outperforming. So always try to find those outperformance. That is our delta, that is our alpha. At the end of the day, that matters. If there is a money in your portfolio, you are gaining, that's the end of it. So for me, like we have suggested earlier also, power and the consumption pack, I will be focusing there, and we would be looking from short to medium term perspective, because right now, in terms of market direction, immediate market direction, that is a bit dicey, considering the performance of the large cap names. So if FI is coming into the picture, we might see performance coming back into the large cap, but till they are not here, it should be the second tier market, and that's where the direction would be ahead of the budget also. So that would be my focus area, and the same I can suggest also.
All right, that's a wrap on today's Nifty Ki Baat. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Raj and Jay, for sharing your insights. We'll see you on next Tuesday.
Thank you. See
Bye,
you all.
everyone.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.